What's up, this is DJ Rafik, and you're tuned in to Thoughts, and I'm at Beat Emporium in Belfast. I'm from Germany, currently living in Brooklyn, New York. I'm representing the Lords of Fitness crew from back in the day. Also, I'm teaching at Dubspot, and I've been focusing a lot on music production for the last couple of years. I mean, like it started really basic, if you want. Like I had someone, a guy from my hometown, DJ Harvey, not the DJ Harvey that everybody knows, but his name is DJ Harvey, and he taught me how to mix. So I had two MK2s that he had, I could use them, and he had like this ginormous, like, I don't know, like 10 channel mixer, and he just like taught me how to beat match and that sort of thing, because before he taught me, I thought people are making music on that thing. I didn't really know how it works, but it didn't really come to me that you have two records that you mix together. So he showed it to me, and he's like, after what you told me, this is not really what you're looking for, right? And I'm like, no, but I love it. So if you can teach me, it would be amazing. So he gave me like an hour lesson every week and let me use his equipment. So I was 13 years old at the time, and it was like no way I could afford a DJ set. So that was great that he gave me that opportunity. And I was like, I couldn't really go to clubs and stuff. So my main source of information basically was TV, radio, all that kind of stuff. And they had really good shows at the time. So I would stay up at night, tape video shows and stuff, and then tape like radio shows, all that stuff, listen to it and like analyze stuff and try to work out what people are doing. And then there was this guy called Westbam, and I knew a little bit about scratching, but he was scratching at big raves that were on TV. It's like really super basic stuff, like baby scratches and like military scratches and that. But for me at the time it was incredible. So like I started looking at it, what is he doing, trying to memorize the patterns, and I started like scratching a little bit. So after that you kind of figure out that ginormous mixing desk that you're using is not really what you need. So it took me a little while, and then I got like a Gemini 626. I don't know if you remember that, with like the giant numbers written over it. And that's the next thing. I was like, okay, like all these scratch DJs, they're like using the small mixers. They're called battle mixers. That's what they use. And I didn't know that you need like the crossfader curve and stuff. So that was the next epiphany, where I was like, okay, crap, like I got a small mixer, but it's still not really doing what I want. So fast forward a couple years later, my dad actually got me, or my parents actually got me a Vestax 07 for my 18th birthday, which was cool because like I was the type of kid that like I would start a lot of things. Like I want to play basketball, and then I would go 2-3 times, and that was it. So my parents, when I wanted to DJ, they were like, like you can't go have your lessons. We're gonna pay for that, but we're not gonna buy you all the shit that you want because you're not gonna use it 2 months later. And that way, like, I think that's responsible for like the hunger that I had, because I was like, I really want this, you know. So like I went to work to buy my own MK2s and stuff. So that was for my 18th birthday, I had the mixer, so I had like the proper gear that you need to be like a scratch DJ. Still didn't have no information yet about like what's actually possible. I was still like getting stuff from tapes and whatever, and like reverse engineering stuff that I heard and be like, okay, like kind of sounds like he's moving it backwards, so I'm gonna do that first and then just try stuff. So yeah, then information came in, so there was like more and more stuff to learn, but I had the equipment to actually like pull it off on, and then it just took a long time to actually learn and master all these things. But the setup stayed the same for a long time, and then until I guess digital DJing was introduced. I don't remember exactly when that was, but it must have been like somewhere around like I don't even know, like a little bit after that whole dubplate thing took off. So like 03, 04, 05, something like that. So like everybody was using Serato, and then I met the guys from Native Instruments at the Musikmesse, which is like the NAMM in Germany. It's like one of the big expositions. And they were like, if you want to come over and just try it, there's like no strings attached or whatever, but we would like to hear what you think. So they showed it to me, and they were like, they had like all these crazy options in there. Still kind of limited to whatever you have today, but I was just like, man, there's like some new stuff in there. I'm gonna go for it. Like, I'm gonna use this. And then a little bit of time went by, and the whole cue point thing was more and more relevant. And like, even when you could still do that only on the like number keys, people were still already like making little beats with like kick, hi-hat, snare, that sort of thing. So like that whole idea was already present. And then that became available through MIDI. So I had like a MPC 1000 at the time, and I used that as like a cue point trigger. So that was like the first piece of equipment that came to the classical DJ set, which is now exactly what the machine does, but just a little bit more. And then they came out with, I guess, Tractor 3, where like the waveforms was still like ugly yellow triangles and shit, but like you had like the effects were already there. And then they showed me that, so it's just like beat masher, delay, what the hell is going on? You know, like that was just something new. And they had like the little fader fox at the Native Instruments office. So that was like, okay, like I need to get that thing. That thing was sold out for a long time because that came out. So I got one, programmed everything the way that I wanted to. And if you want to look at it that way, like the setup was like, it was an MPC 1000 and a fader fox, but it was already the same thing that like the X1 and the machine do now. Only difference was like it was really, really tedious to map that, because I had no idea about like programming at the time and like what modifiers are and stuff. So that was a bit like that was a lot of stuff that I had to learn, but the rewards were so insane because like I felt more and more creative. And the thing is, like now you have full control over a tune. So people are always saying like, yeah, and then you can remix stuff and whatever, but then you can really like rearrange stuff. You can set your cue points, you can set your loops and start like flipping stuff around. And you're kind of more, I mean, it's cool to play with vinyl and to be like limited to the arrangement that the producer actually had in mind. That's a really, really important point. But it's also cool if DJing becomes an art form to like be able to rearrange the drums, but in a performance kind of way. So it's kind of like a live edit. So that, and then you have all the effects and stuff. You can mash stuff up and glitch around and stuff. So it just went like, opportunities just skyrocketed. And that's, I guess, like one thing that I realized only like maybe like half a year ago is that I wasn't really enjoying making music anymore because it became my job. And but I always have a good time just scratching, and it's because like the way my parents are both musicians, and they taught me how to play piano, and then they got me like drumming lessons and stuff. And drums was an instrument where I could like just improvise and just like kind of perform on the spot. Doesn't matter if it's super dope or if it's like super lame and I'm in my little fantasy world, but I'm just like improvising. And that's like the ultimate form for me to make music. It's just like, it doesn't have to sound amazing or whatever, but you're able to have an idea, and you can just like this, you can just like kind of pull it off in one way or another. And some things you have to practice, and other things like pressing a beat masher on off might be a little bit easier. But it's like, it's that same feeling, like that put me back into that position where I feel like a little kid, and I'm like somewhere in like a dark forest, and like I have like a flashlight, and I can like check out what's over there and like find little things over here. So it's like, it's really easy that way to do stuff that nobody's done before, you know. And then these two things came together in a crazy way, like machine and like, let's say, Tractor and an X1. It's I believe it doesn't really matter what you use. In the end of the day, you have like a MIDI controller or whatever. You have some kind of controlling device, and you do some stuff with it. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, the reason why I love Tractor and machine as a combination is they're both from the same manufacturer, so they have like a very similar, like, it's easy to grasp like the technology. So if you manage to work with one of them, it's not going to be so hard to figure out the other one. And they're almost they're getting really integrated these days. Like you can drag stuff into remix decks from like Machine and stuff like that. So even though that's like a feature that I'm probably not going to use, like other people are going to do, like techno DJs can do like ridiculous stuff with that, like, compared to what they were able to do before. So these two are coming really like together nicely, and you can, like, for me it's great to, like, I had the MIDI controller, but now I also have an instrument, but it's the same thing. Like I just have to switch it over, where like back in the days, everything, you have two controllers now and a computer. Back in the days, the stuff that you're doing would have required like a room full of shit. You know, like you would have like a friggin' modular synth somewhere. That thing alone is like, you can never afford that. And then you got like 10 drum computers to get like, because you want to use that 909 snare with that 808 kick or some stupid shit. And then, you know, like you just have all these crazy options. And now, and you can just switch it like that. And it's actually, it's gotten so crazy now where it just keeps telling you where you are. Like right now I just have to look at that thing and I know Machine is controlling remix decks right now. I gotta switch that page before it becomes cue points. But it's like, it's one box and it does so many different things. Like it can be like a real live drum kit. It can be a friggin' kalimba. It can be a piano. It can be cue points. It can be air horns, whatever, you know, like it's just like, I feel really, really free these days. And for me, even though I got like a little bit like I kind of chilled out on the technical side of things, but I gained back a lot on the passion side of things. And it's just like, it's just exciting 24/7, and that's really what I'm chasing in the first place. So like that's one thing. And now that everything is like so complete, is actually the first time where I feel like inspired enough again to go like, okay, I might make another routine with that, you know, like the finger drumming stuff is cool, but that's been done before, you know, but like it's like the real integration isn't there yet, and like doing some crazy stuff, playing like melodies and like drumming at the same time, whatever. Like, I mean, just have to figure out what that is, but like I'm really thinking about that a lot. I actually thought about that a lot last night when I was going to bed, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to talk about tomorrow? And I was just like starting to think about what kind of routines you can make, and that's like, that to me is just priceless, you know, because I didn't have that for many, many years. And if you look at it that way, technology can always open up possibilities like that. And that's just the stuff that I'm thinking of. Other people have different ideas, you know, and then they might do some crazy stuff, like, I don't know, like Uncut or Shifty and all these guys. Like everybody's got their own style of doing things, and you have the options to actually pull it off, and then it's like your own, like it's a conscious decision, like this is too easy, I want to do this a little bit more tricky and stuff, but this other thing sounds better and whatever. I don't know, it's like it's just very, very open. It's something that I've been looking forward to for years, and now it's kind of there, and I think it just might become crazier and crazier in a while. I mean, I can like, if you use like libraries and whatnot, stuff can sound really, really organic, and you can bring something new to people. If you want to make them dance, if you want to make them like lose their shit, be like, oh my god, this is incredible, or whatever. Like you can put all these things in their place, and I think like the way how I vision like my future performance is like everything that I want to share with people. It's like, this is the music that I like, but I flip it. This is a little bit of my music, you know, like check this shit out, it's pretty dope, you know. I mean, it's like, here's some live shit, here's some scratching, whatnot, you know, like you could go for ages.